Yeah, we
Uh,
are.
hold on. So yeah, I don't know about the video. The video doesn't look like it's gonna be that great.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know. I like the emotion. I like the right. 'Cause there's a tone to it, and their hands, uh, etc.
You like everybody
Correct.
seeing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I hear
So
you.
so we'll figure that out. Man, how have you been?
Dude, man.
Okay, wait, hold on, stop, wait. Okay, so today is Friday, December 18th.
Mhm.
And we are coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, or
Mhm.
Texas. Right? They won, so respect. Uh, this is I am Arturo Gomez Tagle, and I'm with
Damien Dennis,
Dennis.
right
And
here.
I don't know if this is I don't know show. I think it is, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Um,
Oh, back to
yeah.
the I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
so I was thinking about it, um, and I'm like, well, the I don't know show is like when I'm talking to other people and I'm asking them questions, and it's stuff
Right.
about I don't, right, and that's the whole purpose of the dialogue, the conversation. But then there's certain things that I do know for
Right.
sure, for certain, and I don't know if I'm gonna make that into like Arturo knows. Like
Uh-huh.
these are things like we I know that, but that's like more of a monologue than a dialogue. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, I can talk to people about it, and we can work through it. But it doesn't seem like I feel like that's going to be more of an outlet like my blog, where it's just a one-way conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always open to feedback, but certain things like I don't think we should have 2 million people incarcerated, 25% of the world's population, right? So, but that's not what we're talking about today, right? Like we're the worst of the worst. We're the most depraved nation in the world,
Hmm.
and I don't think that's the
Better
case.
tell them.
Yeah, but all right, man. So how have you been?
Yeah, man. I will say that getting away from just saying I've been good because it hasn't all been good.
Hmm.
This year has been crazy for everybody. You
Hmm.
know, for me personally, I would definitely say this year has been like a big growth year, just forced growth. I think I'm starting to reach, I'm getting really close to 30s now. I'm starting to reach that point where I'm just like, I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, there's just a lot of things I just don't care about now, and I'm like, wow, it took me long enough, So, but and when I say I don't give a fuck about, like, I don't, I want to say that in a way because I know like some people here like, oh, but you really do give a fuck. But for
Hmm.
me, I think like there's just certain things that I don't want to spend my energy on anymore.
Hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with me. It doesn't have to do with like the outside world going anything that's happening, but it's like a lot of emotions and mindsets that I put myself through, and a lot of emotional energy that just gets wasted worrying, twiddling about not taking action on things that I really want to do. There's certain things I just don't care to like put my energy into anymore. So that's what I mean. Give that a little bit of context. But otherwise, from that, this year has been very eye opening. There's been a lot of wins, a lot of losses, um, and yeah, it's just taught me a lot this year. So,
Okay. Well, let's go piece by piece. First, you said forced growth.
ooh, yes. So when I
Forced
say,
growth.
and I guess you could think about it as, I guess, growth that I was not expecting.
Hmm.
Unexpected growth is probably a little bit better.
Externally forced.
Yes. So,
Ooh.
I mean, just things in so me right now, so I guess years ago when we did, our podcast episode together, I was kind of like just,
Years ago.
yeah, I know, that's crazy, right? Yo, that's nuts. But yeah, I was like just getting into the digital marketing space.
Hmm.
Started working at some agencies, and was doing some. I was kind of like birthing my digital marketing career. Now, a few years later, um, I've grown a bit, but I feel like there's certain things that I'm a little bit still stuck in, and
Hmm.
so this year it really really helped me because so I was working at this this like medical medical crafting company. Like they craft like medical equipment basically. They
Mm-hmm.
made but then they did like a bunch of other like really interesting stuff. That was kind of weird. But they did like a very specific type of medical equipment that was like for this hand like surgery or something like that. And so I was doing in-house marketing for them. And it was like a month into the pandemic. The month into the pandemic, I was there and it was great. They were like, "Hey, everybody go home. You know, like you guys can work from home. It's gonna be chill. We're good." Like, and I was like, "It's dope." Like, I felt like I was like, "Okay, like I don't have anything to worry about." And
Uh-huh.
then went under. Like they went under. And
Wow.
like, oh my gosh, like yeah, we gotta lay off a bunch of people. You know, we don't have money to keep you. And so for me, I was in this space where I was like, oh man, I have to figure out what this new environment that we're in right now. I was like, okay, it's not going to really affect me as much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, almost immediately, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I realized, okay, I have to navigate what this new world we're in, like what's important, and
Mm-hmm.
how am I going to survive, basically. And so immediately I had to realize, I just have to like double down on my skills. I have to
Mm.
double down on what I'm good at and have to really eliminate a lot of things that I'm trying to do and toying around with and just know like there's no time. You're falling off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta grab hold. So what I really found I really fell back on was my writing, which I
Mm-hmm.
never really thought. I was like, I don't want to be a writer. I don't want to be you know, I went to school for journalism. I was like, I don't want to be a journalist or anything like that. So, dude, all the stuff that I learned about writing growing up and the skills that I had built writing just
Mm-hmm.
came back. So, like, now I'm a full on copywriter.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing copywriting for like 3 different companies right now.
Wow.
I just did a full website copy overhaul for a robotics company, and it like I would have never tapped into that if it wasn't for the pandemic. Like it legitimately threw me off the cliff and was like, "Bro, what you gonna do?" And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh my gosh!" And I just realized I need to care about the skills I already have and nurture them. And that's what I really learned. It forced me to grow because it was something I resisted so much. There's a big old helicopter outside. Forced me to grow so much, man. And I realized, yeah, like that's like the path I'm on now. I'm paying very close attention to not only what I'm good at, but what I'm
Uh-huh.
passionate about.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh man, you gotta be passionate about. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's your gift,
Right.
to say the least. But yeah, this year. So
So, okay, now you said that you have to say no to stuff.
yeah, and it's mostly once again, no to myself.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of I realize I think that the boundary that I decided to set more for myself in 2021 is time.
Mm.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
time that I waste is ridiculous.
How do
Now
you waste time?
I waste time without like the social media with the phone and
Uh-huh.
everything. Without just that, because that's a big time waster, and I have to use it a
It
lot
can be.
of work, huh?
It can be, right?
It can be
Right?
exactly. So for me, I've learned that if I want to get something done, I just got to put this away.
Okay.
Like I just got to put it away and not see it. And if I even when I think about it, I'll be like, oh, it's out of sight, but for a reason right now. You're doing something. So that's one thing. I would definitely say like the other area where I waste time, which is great because I've really been like isolating hard this year. I've been like quarantining. I'm like, I got family members to protect and myself to protect. I'm just gonna quarantine, ride this thing out, right? So that I've got a lot of free time to myself. But what I realize is that I spend a lot of time worrying. And you wouldn't think that that takes a lot of time, but it really does. Because worrying for me, it's not just a moment. It cascades into other moments and it affects other areas. And then I'm like in a depressive spiral. And it's like, then I haven't left my apartment in like 2 or 3 days, not even to get like food or water and stuff. So it's like, for me, I've realized I have to figure out. I had to figure out ways of mitigating that worry. And I've built a lot of. I realized this year I've built a lot of great habits just because I'm trying not to worry as much, and I'm realizing like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Mhm.
Like just keep doing what you can do with the cards you have. Play those cards. I mean, as my mom would say, she's like, "What's your hand look like?" And I would say that my hand compared to a lot of people's hands really, really fucking good.
Sure.
So I would say like I just have to in my brain. It's always about like reframing that and always coming back to a place of gratitude for me
Yeah.
and you stop worrying.
That's a natural place to go, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you talk about worry. Worry's the work you don't get paid for.
Ooh, ooh,
I think Mark Twain said, hold on.
damn.
So there's a quote, and
Mhm.
it's like, man has experienced like many travesties most imagined,
I've heard that quote. I have
right?
that quote.
And I don't know. I'm not gonna find it right now,
Mm.
but yeah, man, pretty sure it was Mark Twain. But it's like we imagine these. Oh, that's what he said. He said, I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened.
Mm.
Mark Twain, right? I mean, I said half a paragraph, he said half a sentence. So,
I feel like Mark Twain's like the most quoted individual, and people are like, "Did he really say that?" And they're like,
right, you're right. He probably didn't say that, but apparently he may have been like the first stand-up comedian. I don't know. Yeah, because nobody else has ever held court or
"Right,
made jokes ever. I mean, that
yeah,
had to have been him. Had to
Mark
have been him
Twain,
in a log cabin. So,
nice."
uh, but yeah, man, absolutely, absolutely. There's no reason to worry,
Mhm.
because either you can do something about it or you can't. Right? The Serenity Prayer is famous for a reason,
Mm.
um, and it's just handle what you're able to handle, and then also um, pray for the wisdom to know what you cannot.
Right.
And too often we will put ourselves in positions to say, I'm going to do something about this.
Mhm.
You have no control over that. And I feel sometimes like that when it comes to politics. And it's like, how much of an impact can one person really have? How much is
Mhm.
it more of a, is it an issue for the masses and not just the individual? Because sure, you have an idea, the people around you agree, but there's 330 million other Americans outside of your circle who may think differently. And
Right.
so when you talk about luck, even in this small, just being in this country, right? I was doing some research on why is someone poor,
Mhm.
what maintains um, somebody, or what keeps somebody in that position, and
Mhm.
from a couple different perspectives, a big one is, well, it depends. And
Mm.
that's a sneaky answer, but it does, right? Because if you're in Calcutta,
Mm.
man, opportunity versus hard work. I don't know how the opportunity is over there. But
Mm.
here in the United States, I mean, you gotta say it's way more hard work. Uh, Hard work is the issue, or not even hard work. I can't stand hard work, but um, opportunity is there.
Mhm.
So are you going to go get it? It's up to
Right.
you.
For a
If
lot of us,
right,
absolutely.
if you're in Mexico and the cartels are running your city, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do about that over here eventually. But for now, yeah, it sucks. It's all
Mhm.
bad. But here, there's no excuse. Like you can go and they'll give you money to go to college. Now that's a scam too most of the time. But
Mhm.
if you want a professional degree and you're willing to put in the effort to get the grades,
Mhm.
I mean, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, you can be a surgeon, you can be um, a teacher. I
Mhm.
mean, making 55 grand a year in San Antonio is not that bad. Now, making 50 grand a year in LA, that's a different story. Don't be a teacher in LA. Nobody told you to do that.
Mhm.
Um,
He said nobody knows to do that.
It's true. It's true. Like, don't cry me a river when you chose. Like, no one held a gun to your head and said, take out these loans, go to USC, 50 grand a year to be a third grade teacher.
Yeah, if you have that if you're already in that opportunity bucket, you got to do some homework, man. You got to do some homework. But I will also say what I'm seeing a lot now is I'm hoping this is getting a lot better, is that like people that are minorities, we just don't get support like white kids do. And I
Uh-huh.
hate to say that,
Uh,
but so example, right? A minority student goes to maybe in San Antonio it's a little bit different because like
mm,
this is like a minority city, right? So
mm,
there's tons of brown people everywhere. But I feel like there's got to be some support systems for people once they're in college, so that they actually get through it. Because I remember for myself, ooh, college was rough, dude. Like
was it?
rough.
What
Well,
was
because
rough?
I wasn't even here in San Antonio. I went away to Tennessee, and I felt like it's like, especially if you're in an environment like that where you are the odd person out.
It's not good.
I was, there was not. God, sorry, this stupid thing keeps blinking. Um, I really had to fall back on my friend groups really to like help sustain my mentals in a sense, right? There wasn't a lot of like support for me in terms of like just like education on what type of access I had. Because there's a thing is like if you have the knowledge sometimes about, the resources that are available to you, but you don't have the skill as much, a lot of times like you're gonna learn along the way. But if you
Mm.
don't have if you don't even have the knowledge about the access that that you do have access to, right?
Access to what?
Access to counseling,
Okay.
access to like
Sure.
after school resource, things of that sort. Like
Uh-huh.
I would definitely say like it does help, and I think it is getting better because I feel like there's a lot more organizations that are like, okay, this is a problem. Why are kids getting into college and then not coming out of college, right? And why they're going and wasting
Mm.
spending loans, things like that. And yeah, I feel like it's getting better because there's more people that went through that experience themselves and they're coming back and saying, okay, we have to create these support systems for these kids to actually get through college. And yeah, I kind of wish I had that, to be honest, because it was rough. It was rough.
I
Like I
had.
saw some of my friends breathe, and I'm like, I'm way smarter than you, and I
Uh-huh.
just saw them breeze by and I
Oh,
didn't realize
smart.
after they're like, oh well, I was doing this and I was doing this and I was doing this, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I didn't even know that was available to me.
Okay. There's a lot there. All right, so let's
Yeah.
start. Number one, I had no idea. 4-year graduation rate in public colleges and universities. What percentage do you think it is?
Ooh, ooh, I don't even know. Oh Lord.
33.3%. One out of three. So 2 out of 3 people don't make it in 4 years. 2 out of 3. I had no idea. Now, but the six year graduation rate is 57%. It's about 57.6%. But still, 40 out of 100 people aren't finishing college, is what this is telling me.
Mm,
40 out of 100.
that's a lot of people.
And
Damn,
that's a lot of money.
that's a lot of money.
That's a
And that
lot of
money, they
money.
still got paid them loans
You
too.
still got to pay the loans back, buddy. And even worse, because see, those teachers who
Mm,
went to USC are getting them signed off and paid for by the government because they taught at inner city school. So a lot of that,
I-
factors into it. But then after the fact, making 50 grand a year in a city where houses cost $800,000 to begin with, good
yeah,
luck, right?
yeah.
But that's a different argument. So okay, and then smart. But see, smart doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Smart, what smart means is you're quick-witted, right? So
Right.
smart like a wit. Intelligent means the ability to apply knowledge,
Mm-hmm. Right.
right? So and what happens if you're ignorant to the knowledge to begin with?
Right.
Then
Can't
there's
even
no
use it.
way, right? Then you can't even use it.
It's
And
rough.
and you don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, there are like the known knowns, the known unknowns, and then the unknown unknowns. Like
Mm,
I had no perfect example. If
mhm.
you've ever sold drugs, you can't be a police officer. You can't be in the CIA. You can't be in the FBI. You can't be in the DEA. You can't be Border Patrol.
Uh-huh.
People aren't. Why isn't that as soon as you're in middle school? Just so everybody knows, we all
Right.
know what you're going to be doing, but they're going to polygraph you, and this is a fact.
Hmm.
Those types of things are systematically
Yep.
putting limitations on certain individuals who have a
Yep.
higher propensity to go into those types of activities for the simple fact that economic opportunities are different
Right.
depending on where you live. If there's no mall where you live, you can't get a regular mall kid job.
Right.
You have to go do other things for money. You can't mow a lawn if there's no lawns. If everyone around you lives in an apartment, I'm sorry, I can't. There's no rakes. There's no leaves for me to rake.
Right.
So what
Exactly.
do you want me to do? Oh,
Right.
there's this thing that I can get for this much and sell it for that much, and you guys are all full of shit, and you're selling it behind the counter at CVS anyway. So
Right.
what's the difference, right? I mean, there are 10 million kids on some type of meth, right?
Mhm.
And that's Adderall, Ritalin. 10 million kids in
Yeah.
America. I don't
We
know
we
how many are on hydrocodone, OxyContin, Vicodins, Percocet. That's just heroin,
yeah.
right?
Literally.
Right. So
Literally.
what are we talking about here? But
Easy,
uh,
man.
when it comes to um, race and the inequities, I mean that's even a thing too. If a white person goes into a doctor versus a minority goes to see a doctor, they're going to get a different level of care, and that's been statistically proven. And it's a
Mhm.
shame. It's a shame. I mean, I can give you anecdotal like case after case, um, but that's not as powerful as look at the facts. The
Right.
facts are, they're trained a certain way, they look at people a certain way, they were raised a certain way,
Right.
and so now we have to deal with the outcomes of what the system has created.
Yeah.
So when you say, they're not smarter than me, I'm pretty sure that's true.
That just
But
might be my little ego too at the
you
same
know,
time.
maybe, but it's not about smart. It's not about being quick. It's
Right.
about
Doesn't matter at the end of the day.
it's about knowing about something.
Right.
And who told you? Nobody. Who
Mhm.
told them? Probably their parents. Like
Mhm.
SAT prep. I didn't know you could take SAT prep courses and
Yeah.
practice and study for the test. I just showed up on test day. Oh, I guess this is the test I have to take.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
Right.
crazy.
And so
Meanwhile, parents are putting their kids through like sometimes paying thousands of dollars to tutor them.
thousands.
And
Right.
you're like, man, this kid killed that SAT.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's been studying like a semester long for this test.
Not more. They've been studying since they were in the ninth grade. They're
Yeah,
taking it in the 11th. I
yeah,
just heard about it last year. I don't
right,
know.
exactly. It was funny because I realized so perfect example, right? When I went to high school, I had no idea you could do dual credit. You could do 2 years of college courses, and by the time you graduate, you basically finished half of your college
Yep.
career.
Yep.
Had no idea. My sister popped up. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing dual credit," and she had laid out the whole plan, and I was like, how do you know about this? And
Sure.
it's just the game is changing a bit because these knowledge is being actually implemented in certain classrooms, right?
Right.
So she's going to where's she going to? She went to Warren High School, right? And so at Warren, they have a magnet school attached to it, but they realize like, oh, we actually have to teach some of the things that they're teaching in the magnet school because I don't know if they're like, well, we're just gonna look dumb compared to them when the
Mm-hmm.
numbers come out, right? But they started teaching certain things, like they start giving, they start telling everybody from freshman year, hey, this is coming up. You can do dual credit, and like literally, it's just gonna depend on your grades and if you like, sign up for it. And I was like, if I'd known that at my, when I was talking to my mom, she was like, yeah, that existed when you were in high school apparently too. But I had no idea. She didn't even know,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's crazy,
Well, the issue is, why is that not the default?
right?
Right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's not, all you need is an IQ of 110, and you can graduate university. 100 will get you through high school. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're getting A's in the ninth grade, then they should be like, hey, yeah, starting 10th grade, you're getting these dual credit classes, period.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
we know you have the capacity.
Right.
Maybe you have to work a little bit harder and you'll get a B and you'll struggle for that A. Doesn't matter. A C is passing, right?
Mm.
So the whole notion of, oh, well, I got a 4.0. I damn near got 4.0 throughout my entire high school career, but that was only taking, I don't know, 5 or 6 AP classes versus some of my classmates who took like 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then even that was a joke because when it came to the test, the AP test, I got an A in the class, I got a 1 on the test.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
how does that line up, right? That doesn't line up at all. And it's because, for a lot of reasons,
Right.
but there should have been more of a correlation. There should have been we're studying for the test. That's what, I mean, that's what the whole purpose of the class is, right?
Right.
To
You know
get
what I
you
think
to
it is?
score, right? To
I think
get
at
you
the end of the
to
day, it's just capitalism. Because at the end of the day, some people want to say, "I have more than you'd have,"
uh-huh.
and I think that might be like the most simplistic version of it. Oh, throw Occam's law at me though, but because I think really at the end of the day, some people just want more than other people, and they feel like if other people are on the same playing field as them, and in fact, sometimes they look at these people and they're like, "Damn, yeah, if we were to just open the floodgates, there
Mm-hmm.
would be no difference.
Mm.
We wouldn't be able to sit on our thrones anymore." And I think there's a lot of steps to get to that
Uh-huh.
exact notion, but I feel like it's kind of like now a subconscious part of our society where it's like we have to do little things like in different areas to systematically separate people who know how to or desire the top, or know how to work the game, in their favor. Yeah.
Sure, sure, right. You're always going to want so hold on. So are you
Mhm.
saying that there are people like teachers who are on purpose?
Oh, no, 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 not teachers, but okay, maybe I shouldn't say like someone specifically, right?
Okay.
But I feel like as a society, right?
Hmm.
As a society, we are, we like to have people that are in these like lauded positions of luxury, of power, of knowledge. And I feel like that system is kind of messed up when we give the same knowledge to everybody,
Hmm.
right? We give the same knowledge about finances to everyone. We teach everybody about real estate.
Do we?
We give them, we tell them all about the SAT prep. It's like it's not something that we consciously do in the moment necessarily, but I feel like it's like an underlying way to how our country works in capitalism,
So, but you're saying that we should do that if we gave everyone the same information.
So yes and no, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes and no, because I feel like, I mean, yeah, why not, right? Like I feel like if everybody had the same information from the
Hmm.
jump, our society would be based more on merit and actual skills and action, and maybe we could actually start using hard work as a metric, but I don't think we can use that as a metric for success or socioeconomic status, because as we've seen in many instances, it's not really your work in your lifetime a lot of times that puts you up to have a better life. Sometimes it's generations back. Your daddy, your granddaddy, your grandma, like it's like they've kept these things in such a line that you don't even really have to work or be anything special anymore. You don't have to go, above and beyond. You just have to
Hmm.
exist. While some people will work above and beyond and bleed themselves dry, and they won't
Hmm.
even they won't even barely touch you. So
You're talking about hard workers?
hard workers.
Yeah, hard
Yeah,
workers.
hard
Hard
workers.
work. It's
They
just a scam. Hard work
work
is such a
hard and
scam.
die hard.
Yeah. Uh, Now work smart. Don't
Mm,
work hard.
work
Working
smart.
hard. If you want to work hard, listen, I've loaded 50-foot trailers for UPS. And that's not fun. It's not fun at
I
all.
can't imagine
So
it is.
go in the middle of summer, go nail a roof together with
Right,
shingles and a nail gun. Good luck.
right.
Hard work
Hard
should
work
not
definitely teaches you stuff for sure,
yeah,
for
to not
sure.
want to do it, to be over it, to say this isn't for me. And
Right,
if you had, listen, I get it. There are people whose IQ is 90, whose IQ is sub 100, and
right.
man, they don't get it. Like I can run numbers in my head and we can get percentages of percentages. I can do that. I was gifted with that talent, and then I was lucky enough to be allowed to hone that skill, right? So I'm never going to have to use my physical body to put food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, that is the case. Now, what do I think is fair? I think it's fair to pay him more. I think it's fair to pay the man in the yacht less. I think it's fair to even go as far as taking some of that property back through taxation. I mean, especially when it comes to things that I was just listening to a podcast, Malcolm Gladwell. He was talking about golf courses, how most of them or a lot of them are locked in on their property tax. So while you pay more for your house in property tax, they're paying what they paid 50, 60 years ago. So instead of paying $1.8 million a year, they're paying 100 grand a year, 60 grand a year. Right, because they are the same people who are funding political campaigns.
Yeah.
And so if I give a politician money, he's going to do me a favor later on down the road.
That's crazy. That makes so much sense, though.
But it makes sense because these are the people. But see, here's the thing. The rub is, where do these corporations get money from? Initially, from us.
Right.
We give it to them. So we're voting for them to pay for politicians by buying stuff from them to begin with. So, I don't know what the solution is on that. I know maybe it's not even a problem, right? It's the way it works. If I have all this money, my job is to maintain this money, to keep this money, because I do want to pass it down to my family in the future. So what right do you have to take it away from me? You gave it to me, dummy. So what do you want me to do? It's mine now. Thanks. Have a good one. Here's the good or service. Take a hike. I'm going to go make this money, make money. And so it is a game.
Right. It's rules like how we all complain about Jeff Bezos, but like we literally shop on Amazon in the next 5 minutes.
Every day.
Right.
Why is he the richest man on earth? Let me give him some money. I mean, just imagine if every American gave you $1, you'd be a third of a billionaire. That's why he's 100 billionaire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the numbers are there, the money is there, but we refuse to do anything to go out and get it, right? And so when it comes to those laborers, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like the information is there. Where I see an issue is in school, that everybody isn't gifted until proven otherwise. Like, this is the hardest shit we can give you.
Right.
Then you flunk down. Not, these 6 kids, they really get it. Put them in next year's math.
Right. Okay, that'll never happen. Why? Because we use kids in this country to literally push agendas of all sorts. We don't want, as soon as anybody lifts a finger, talks bad to a kid, raises their voice at a kid, fuck that person. Crucify him.
So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is,
crazy.
Why aren't our kids demanded to shine their brightest? Because I know they can shine brighter.
Hell yeah.
If you have the stomach, they're waste. So yes, and they're disrespected day after day. And then the problem children, put them on medication. This kid is unruly. He's unruly. He doesn't listen. Give him some pills.
Crazy.
And then what happens? Well, he's still a good brain, so he'll be an accountant. He still has a good brain, so he'll be a software engineer. So he'll be a gear in someone else's machine.
Yep.
And in that respect, I wholeheartedly agree with you, because it's capitalist. I mean, it's just a machine. We need more gears. We need more cogs to put into this machine. And what we don't need brilliant individuals. We don't need people who think outside of the box. We don't need people that want to rock the boat. Just paddle. Just paddle, man.
Damn. That's scary. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna unlock my door real quick. All right.
Okay.
Back.
All right. So what else do you have to say? So
Well,
is
hey, that
capitalism?
that was quite the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man. Let me ask you, how are you doing, man? Like, what's happening in your world? Like,
Good.
what's going
Life
on?
is good. Um, Getting back into health,
Mm.
fitness. I mean, it's I let myself slip a little bit
Oh,
in the quarantine. And
everybody, man. The quarantine
yes,
15, as they say. I'm still
man,
waiting for mine, bro.
well, man, you know what? When you eat, like I ate, you'll get the 15. It was a pizza, it was ice cream, man,
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
chips. I was just going crazy. I was getting really out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, we can't do this anymore, buddy. And so it's been about 2 months. I'm down like, yeah, 15 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm doing pull-ups, I'm doing push-ups, I'm doing some
Nice.
weights, I'm doing some ab stuff,
Nice.
and my steps, 10,000 a day average. Today I put up 27,000 and I'm not done. At 8:30 I got to take off to go walk up to the mall real quick, and
Okay.
yeah, so I'll probably get 32,000 today.
Excellent.
And yeah,
Excellent.
man.
I need
Yeah,
to
man.
track mine because I do walk a lot now. Like that was one of the habits I built in quarantine. It was like walks in the morning
Yep.
and
Yep.
sometimes walks in the afternoon, but generally always walks in the morning, man.
Yeah,
Like
man.
this is nice. This is
It's
nice.
great. It's great, and you see the moon.
Mm.
And this last month when the moon was full, oh my goodness, it was. And because I'm up here, we're up here on the northwest side, and
Hmm.
so it's just not as much light, and I can see stars, and
Oh,
I
that's
can
all.
see the moon, and yeah, man, that's one thing I don't miss about the big city,
Hmm.
L.A. We'd see 6 stars a night. Like you don't see stars. Like
The
it's
most.
yeah, is that a star? No, it's a plane. It's
Right. Wait.
so yeah, so that's good. Yeah, but uh, what I'm trying to figure out is
Mhm.
what's the next move. What I don't know is what am I going to do? Because I have to do something, man. Like
Mm.
I just can't sit idly by while. And so let me get back to
Yes.
information.
Yes.
Like I think it's there. Like I think YouTube
Dude.
has Harvard. YouTube
Oh.
has Oxford. YouTube has UCLA. YouTube has NYU courses. Like I still remember taking an online course. It wasn't through YouTube, but it was it was through Penn State for patent and trademark law. And I
Okay.
go to office hours for a free legal clinic at Cafe Commerce or whatever it was,
Nice.
and I'm sitting down with a $400 an hour lawyer, right, pro bono, and I said, okay, can you patent? It's a business process. Can you patent the idea? He's like, well, the way patent works, the way trademark works, and he's like, it's a reverse auction for a car, and it's an idea you can't trademark it, right? I'm like, I know what a trademark is. Trademark is just a logo.
Right.
Trademark is a phrase, it's a saying, it's a jingle. That's what trademark is. So he's like, no, you can't do anything with that. After doing my course, after doing my own research, not only can you patent a reverse auction for automobiles, it had already been patented. So, and then to add insult to injury, just recently I found a gift card with a lot of money on it. Like if I
Okay.
lost this amount of money, I'd be like, you know what, I'm upset. I go to the place's website and they say, listen, if you have it, it's yours. That's in the terms and conditions. Treat it like cash.
Wow.
I another legal lawyer, what's it called, right? And I say, well, what do I do? So I pull up the actual penal code and I'm reading through abandoned property and what it means. And
Right.
they're like, well, you might have to hold it for 3 years, but if they don't charge a fee, if this and that, it doesn't apply because it's just a value stored card. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, call the cops, say you found it, and if they don't have anybody that reported it, because I already reported it to the property manager, and he's like, yeah, then call them, go into a store, and ask them if you can use it, and if they say it's fine, it's fine. I'm like, that's not. Tell me how to read the law. Tell me how to interpret
Right.
this, like this section of the Penal Code of Texas, abandoned property, value stored cards,
Right.
and they just so.
Damn.
It,
Incompetent.
Well, they're just because it's just a scam. Lawyers are just, and that's why half of me is like, just go get the bar, just go to law school, get your degree, pass the bar, and just charge people $500 an hour to talk to them. Like, because that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Like, oh, you got a DUI? Yep, I got you. It's gonna be about 8,000. Okay,
Yeah.
here you go. Thanks. We take credit card too. Thanks. And it's
Damn.
nothing, and it's just, but it's one of those scams because there's only so many law schools. They only graduate so many people. You have to pass this crazy difficult test, which doesn't even seem like what do you have to pass the test for if everything's going to be figured out and sussed out in a court of law anyway?
Right.
Like, what am I really? It's just how do we? And it gets harder every so many years.
Mhm.
So it's just how do we get less and less and less people? It's just like doctors and nurses. Why are there limits on how many medical schools there are? Why are we giving people student loans for any positions other than doctor, scientist, engineer?
Right.
Like
Things are gonna drive like the economy and that we need to survive.
more of
Yeah.
that there is a shortage of. The only
Yeah.
reason a doctor makes $600,000 a year is because there aren't that many of them.
Damn. Supply and demand.
Man,
That's crazy, bro. Down to people
right?
and positions. That you just blew my mind actually because it's so simple. It's sitting right there in front of us, and that's the reason. Holy damn, that's crazy.
Right. So, is there a vast conspiracy? Yeah, definitely, and it's out in the open.
Right. Yeah. Hiding in plain sight.
Right. Right. But if you want to be an English lit major, oh, you can go to any school.
Yeah.
Every school can teach that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So then why are we subsidizing that as taxpayers when we have no shortage
Right.
of lit majors? So yeah, that's an issue. And not letting our kids shine their brightest, and then not even telling them how to shine their brightest.
Right. Not
I
even
mean, that's
enabling them. That's crazy.
you don't tell me if you don't tell me the rules, how am I supposed to follow them?
Mm-hmm.
And then you lie to me. Marijuana will kill you. Oh my God.
Right.
No, still has no head count. 0. Sugar kills 600,000 through heart disease, 300,000 through obesity, diabetes. So we're at 1,000,000. We're at 1,000,000. Cocaine kills 15,000 people a year. Kids used to drink cocaine and Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prison. Yeah. We're kicking your door in. We're taking the dad out the house. We're going to ruin the community.
Yep.
Decimate a certain type of individual.
Namely,
certain
people.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, you didn't play by the rules. Rules is rules.
Because they created the game, man.
Correct.
Like the game has been crafted, and it's like it's all just a game. And if you don't follow the rules that are put in place, then you get hit with the ban hammer.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
unless you're the judge's son,
Right.
unless you're top 500 CEO.
Yeah,
Go
but
check
ain't that part of the game too, though, right?
drawers. I bet you you'll find some powder in there. Guarantee it.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big part of the game.
Uh-huh.
They're they're the moderators, bro. You know, they get a pass after pass after pass.
Right. And it's so I was thinking like, how do you know if you have a job or if you have a career? Well, if you have a job and they find you with drugs, you're fired. If it's a career, you go to rehab.
Right. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. And how many people, are out there struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and boop, that little slip, well, you're fired and you're going to prison.
Yep.
Versus, we're gonna hold your seat here, buddy. Go get yourself cleaned up. It'll be waiting for you when you come back.
Right. Exactly. Crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And so the rich get richer. The poor typically die quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And around and around we go. Right?
Yep. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Yeah. When you think about it, it's like so Yeah, I think that's why for me, and I guess maybe not, maybe to you know, paint a little brightness on this very dark picture.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's why for me it's really comes down to what can I give people, right? What
Mm.
can I give people that's gonna make their lives just a little bit better?
Okay.
Just put a brick of goodness into their lives.
What are you
Like
gonna do?
so for me, I've learned that something that happens to me a lot. Not as it happened a lot to me this year because that's just my depressive brain. But I went into a lot of spirals this year.
Mm.
You know, I went into enough depressive spirals where I was just numb. Just felt just numb to everything that and I came out of them all the time, and to the point that I realized I'm learning a system about how to get back on my own feet, right?
Okay.
I'm teaching myself through all of these failures, quote unquote. I'm teaching myself how to get back, a system for myself to get back to the place where I feel like now, where I feel good, where I feel even keeled, where I
Mm-hmm.
can actually get work done. And so I think for me, that's changed I've always loved giving people little nuggets of like positive advice or actionable
Mm-hmm.
wisdom, right? But it's really changed for me over the last year in this 2020 pandemic world, where I've
Mm.
just taken it really seriously. Where I'm like, you know what? I want to give people digestible wisdom. Meet them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
If they're having problems with their relationship, if they're having problems with their jobs, if they're struggling with hard decisions, let's talk about it. Because
Mm.
a lot of times, what people do not do, which is why I recommend that everybody goes to therapy at least once in their life. Try
Really?
it. Try that therapy. Try it. And if it doesn't do anything for
What
you,
kind of therapy?
I would just say, I would say mostly emotional therapy. I don't really know how many types.
Like group therapy, like
Oh
one
no, no,
on
no. Like one
one,
on
like
one,
with a
you with a therapist,
therapist,
working out your emotional
on
baggage.
Zoom, in person,
Either, honestly, I would say
religious, go to my deacon. I don't know if deacons are still
true.
a thing,
I would
but
say, hey, if that's your
uh-huh.
thing, go to your
Uh-huh.
deacon. But I would
Mm.
say the point, the point being, it's not really the therapist, right? The point being is talk to someone about the things that are rattling around in your brain that you're not
Mm.
talking to anybody about. Because
Mm.
the moment that you do that, a lot of times you'll solve your own problems
Mm-hmm.
the moment you start talking about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that for myself. The moment that I started opening up to either my journal
Mm-hmm.
or slipping Instagram a little bit of what's going on in my brain, or talking to my partner or mom or whoever, right? Is the moment I
Mm-hmm.
start doing that, that's when I would start coming out of that spiral. It was
Mm.
like a little process, like you've been ignoring what's going on up here,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're acknowledging it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that little switch from ignoring it to acknowledging it. And man, when I'm telling you, like that's really helped me not only, get back on my own 2 feet, but also help my friends. Like literally in the last week, I've helped, one of my friends decide if she wanted to literally move from here back to her hometown. Like
Wow.
she's dealing with all this stuff. She has this kid,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, like real shit, bro, like real shit. And not to brag about that or anything, because
Flex.
she knew all the answers for herself.
Mm-hmm.
But she just needed someone who was willing to talk to her about it. And she figured it out. She was like, "Oh yeah, thank you." So I'm like, "I didn't do shit. You
Yeah.
did this. You have
Right.
the answers for yourself." Another one of my friends, she she's dealing with this guy. And she knows this guy is not good for her, right? She
Mm-hmm.
knows like he's not giving her what she needs out of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Communication's not there. She's already caught him in lies. And so she's trying to come to me to say, for me to give her an excuse to keep seeing this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm
Absolve.
not going to give her that. I'm
Right.
like, you just told me A, B, C, and D, and E. Oh,
Uh-huh.
hell no. If it was me in your position,
Uh-huh.
I would be cutting this off, right? But
Sure.
you have two options now. You have one option is to cut this guy off, go
Hmm.
clean. You haven't even been talking to him that long.
Okay.
Start taking care of you. You
Sounds
know.
boring.
Right.
Why would I watch
Sounds
TV
healthy.
if I could? Why would I watch a drama when I can live a drama? Come on, man. I
Ooh,
mean,
hey, that's real shit though, and I feel like a lot of people live there, which is
yes,
scary.
they want it. It's
Scary.
entertainment. They're
Yeah,
bored.
exactly.
They're so concerned with um filling their time with nonsense that they say, this reality TV show isn't enough. I need the real thing. I need to
Right.
put it in my vein. And
Yeah.
it's a shame. And I think, yeah, therapy will
Yeah.
probably help, but they might need something more than therapy.
Hey,
Um, yeah,
that's
man.
that's real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
But
So
yeah, that's all
you
I've been
gotta
trying
be
to give
careful with
people.
that. Gotta be
Yeah,
very
that's all I've been
careful with
trying to
that
give people.
because I can't do it. I don't need
Yeah,
junk.
and
I don't need.
that's
I don't even watch TV. No TV in the house. Don't do it. It's bad for you.
mm,
Mhm.
mm, that's very true. Yeah, and I mean, I watch plenty of TV. I'm not gonna lie, but you're right. I mean, TV is like it's another time waster, right? It's
Time
another
waste.
time waster, but
Right.
more, like you're saying, more important than the time wasting is the
Mhm.
messaging that is going through your brain,
Yep.
because it blocks out your own messaging,
Yep.
right? And it's like rewiring your brain
Right.
to think a certain
Right.
way, right?
Right.
If you're not someone who's who's introspective on a regular basis, you're not going to survive TV. TV
Correct.
TV is going to control how you think.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
really. Is.
Absolutely. And then real life will become boring. So
Mm-hmm.
boring to like, oh my God, and did you see? Oh, and then what happened? Well, I couldn't believe when he said, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, this real life shit is boring. So I'm gonna bring drama into my life to spice
Right.
things up. Or even worse, I'm gonna go, or maybe not as worse, but also bad, dive into more of this fake drama TV, watch
Mm-hmm.
another show. This one wasn't enough drama. I need another one. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, you've just become another cog in the machine.
Mm.
And it's just, I go to work, I come home, I watch TV, I go to sleep. I wake up, I go to work. I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't do it. It's not for me. I get that it's for other people. And I do want people to shine their brightest. If you don't, you're doing a disservice to this world. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I believe. But here's the thing, capitalism. We do need, listen,
Yeah.
when I go, so one of my coworkers got me a shirt from Express and it was large. So I was like, come on, man, I'm not large. But we've never met, right? Because
Right.
we're working from home.
Right.
And so I took it and the guy exchanged it and they were so busy. I'm like, everyone here is getting corona. You guys are out of control. The mall was so packed.
You
I haven't been to
serious?
the mall. I haven't been to the mall this whole quarantine, right?
Yeah, I
And it's
still haven't been to the mall.
packed. And
Oh.
so I go to exchange it. So I'm like, cool, great, thank you. And then I walk out and it beeps and I'm like, not me. So I keep
Yeah.
going. And then I get home right now. And I look and the freaking scanner,
He left it
what
on?
he left it on.
Oh.
So, and I have no receipt. So I called them right before we started and I'm like, hey, and they're like, okay, just come back today or tomorrow.
Right.
I'm like, well, I work tomorrow. So I'll be back. And they close at 9.
Right.
So it's just like out of control, man. Out of
Damn.
control. But
I
we
can't believe
need that guy
that.
there, right? Unfortunately or fortunately, maybe he loves his job. I don't know. He was having a really good conversation with the customer before me. Um, that those are real jobs that need filling. Should they
Absolutely.
get paid at least $15 an hour? Should it be a living wage? Yes, absolutely. Does that mean that billionaires and millionaires get a little bit less mansions, a little bit less yachts? Yes, it does.
Right.
But we're going to have a better overall society. Why? Because they're not going to have to go to breaking into cars. They're not. The only reason someone breaks into a car is either one because they're a psychopath, sociopath, or
Mm-hmm.
two because they really need the money.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it. Why else? Oh, I'm just gonna break into this car today, see how it is. Nobody does that. There's literally like a show about cops that will like literally run you down in their cars, tase you, beat the shit
Yeah,
out of you. Like nobody wants to do that and
right.
like risk that for themselves. This is not a
Right.
thing, unless they really, really have to.
We have to. And so what we should do, what I want to do what I believe is that we need to make it's already easy, but we need to make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And for certain people, we need to make it harder. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're already a billionaire, we got to make it harder for you to make a second billion. It
Yeah.
can't be the same rules. Like you already won. You beat us. You got
Mm.
us. You hit us for the billion. Oh, good job. But the
Great.
second one's going to be harder, not
Yeah.
easier. Like it seems like they get a billion and now it's easier to make the second.
Yeah.
And
Dude, I
it's
mean,
like,
Jeff Bezos made what, 65%
ah,
more
man,
this year, dude? Like, that's crazy.
30
Just
million.
because the pandemic happened.
Well, yep, yep. While 30
Nothing
million
else.
Americans have no job, while about 6 million families are going to get evicted in a month,
Damn,
he
dude.
got richer. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Ah,
So,
ah.
so,
Crazy.
are these problems solvable? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Are
There it
you
is.
and I going to solve them right now? No.
Nope.
But we have to plant the seeds. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. So when it comes to the children and accessibility, it comes from the teachers pointing out kids. And unfortunately, there is a statistical, another Malcolm Gladwell podcast, Revisionist History, and he's talking about how teachers will single out certain races above other races.
Wow.
And if you have a minority teacher, chances are they're going to point out more minority kids to even out, not above, but so that it's flat. But if you have a
Mm,
white teacher and you have a minority kid, less of a chance of elevating them to say they're gifted. And so I think the solution is they're all gifted. Are you
right.
kidding me? These kids know, and then you lie to them and they're like, yeah, I know you're lying. And then what do you teach them? That it's okay to lie. And then when they start lying, you can't even say, well, where'd you learn that from? I didn't invent this.
Right.
I just imitate behavior.
Right.
I'm just imitating behavior. And so, yeah, man, we need more shining lights. We
Yeah.
need more bright stars. And we need more people giving people hope. But then also doing the damn thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
The damn thing. Like getting out there on the streets, teach, getting education going for kids. You know,
Just
so that's funny because I'm actually creating it's something that I like. I really want to like get out before Christmas. I don't
okay.
know if it's possible, but I've been
Don't
working
do
on
it.
it.
Corona.
Yeah, exactly. Like I ain't got shit else to do. Stuck in the house. So I'm building like a journal, right? I'm
Okay.
calling it the comeback journal.
All
And it's
right.
basically like a way it's something that I was it's a system that I kind of built for me, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to get back on my own feet. And then not only just get on my feet, but like move towards build the momentum towards thriving within my mind, right? Thriving. And like that comes with like building certain habits, you know, cutting out certain habits, you know, just setting up routines, a little bit of structure. So that's what I'm building right now. I'm building it's almost like a course, but it'll be a journal that I want to have an actual physical copy one day. But it'll be all digital at the moment. But so that's what I'm building. And my goal has always been for a long time. When I was younger, I was like, I had this idea and I was like, man, I want to like, you know, get a big mansion and like
Uh-huh.
collect all these kids that are like, you know, struggling and shit and like
Uh-huh.
teach them, you know, put them to school. And my friends were like, you want to build an orphanage? And I was like, it's different from that, you know. But like I've always realized that, man, like kids, the potential that kids have, like you're not gonna tell me that just because you come from your kid's born to a certain family or from a certain lineage or is one race that they're just exceedingly better at you know, just exceedingly better than other kids, right? I feel like kids are they're sponges, man. And whatever you teach them, that's what they're going to learn, right? You teach them love, that's what they're going to learn. They're going to learn love. You teach them hatred, they're going to learn hatred. If you teach them, you know, math and science and reading, they're going to love those things. You know, that's what happened with me. My parents, you know, stacked my room with a bunch of books. What did I do day in and day out? I just read books, you know, fantasy books,
Yeah.
nonfiction books, whatever. You know, that was what I luckily I had some crazy Jamaican parents that were like, nah, you gonna get these books, son. You know. But I just want to give kids that. So that's going to be the next iteration. This iteration is, for people like myself that we've already been trained the way we've been trained, and we have to unlearn things, right?
Okay.
Got to unlearn things, and we actually have to build new habits to set ourselves on a good path. But eventually, for sure, I want to create just a really great program for kids that just tap into their brains, man, and just help them as much as possible to just be like Super Saiyan thinkers, like this amazing, amazing, like I want them to be introspective. I want them to, be independent thinkers, have their own set of judgment and morals, not based on anybody else, but what they feel works for them, and it's going to be hard because, in society, they're going to go out into society and that's not the society we live in, but hopefully those little chunks can help change the culture. And that's what's made me excited about 2020, man. It's just, I realize like I'm very, very, very creative. I have ideas always popping in my brain all the time. Like my notebooks are full of just ideas that I'm like, oh, that could turn into something. Boom. That could turn into something. Boom. I write them down. And sometimes I get around to working on them, and some of them will not get worked on probably for another 5 years, but they're there. And I know like, man, like that's what I've really grasped is that I can trust my brain to always be creative and always come up with something cool and interesting. I'm working on like 3 different personal projects right now that I think are fucking badass. I'm like, dude, not wait until these like come out and people can actually start using them, so it's been that's what this year's really taught me, man. It's like you take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. It's not like I take care of myself so that I can just take care of myself forever. But you pump value, pump resources, pump stuff into yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to turn around and pump those excess resources now into somebody else. Those resources that you don't need no more because you're good. You pump that into somebody else, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do the same thing. And it just creates this like cascade of amazing people and amazing circles and people that give a shit about each other and actually care about their own ideas, and other people's ideas. Like, sounds crazy, doesn't it?
No, not at all. It sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So now it's about execution. So
absolutely.
We're at time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Dude.
we got to do this. Yeah, man, this is great. Let's do another hour.
Dude, it doesn't even feel like an hour, bro.
Yeah, I know. Dang it. Yeah, but nah, man, that's an hour.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time. And so yeah, man, we'll set something up, and we got to talk about that journal for sure. Dude. And then getting the resources. Yeah, man. All right, cool. Okay. Social media shout outs. Where do people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Ask Coach Dame. That's AskCoach Dame, Dame. Ask Coach Dame. That's pretty much where I reside. You don't need to find me really anywhere else. Instagram.
All right, cool. Thanks so much, man.
Hey, take it easy, Art. Peace out, brother.
Yes, sir.